You are listening to the Dyslexia Mom Life podcast. I'm Nicole Holcomb, former teacher and school counselor turned civil rights attorney and podcast host. It wasn't that long ago that we learned the reason that our daughter was struggling to learn to read in first grade was dyslexia. Fast forward 4 years past many hours of research and collaborating with experts in the field of dyslexia, now I'm sharing the lessons I have learned that took me from being an overwhelmed mom who didn't understand dyslexia to a go-to mom who is helping hundreds of moms each week through education and collaboration. I created the Dyslexia Mom Life podcast to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies and hacks to help you do the same. If you're feeling alone and lost on your parenting dyslexia journey and you're looking to find a mom who gets it, you're in the right place. Let's jump in and get started. You were listening to episode 114, Write Down Your Hangcliffers. And we're going to be talking about writing letters to our kiddos. So hang tight with me because you are not going to be disappointed. One of the reasons I decided to record this episode was because over the last few years, many of my mom friends have shared with me these amazing stories, the things their sons and daughters are doing and saying and creating. And, they're just such creative kiddos. And if you're like most moms, we're good to remember our to-do list for that day. But years from now, will we really recall a unique word or a phrase or an idea that our kids had while they were growing up? I mean, we may remember some, but not all of them. So for those conversations, that I've had with these other moms and really personally just my ever-growing lack of memory, I decided to grab a composition notebook, the really cute ones that you find at TJ Maxx or Marshall's, and I started last year writing notes to my daughter. It's really not a journal, so it's not like a hardback journal, although you could use one of those. I mean, anything that you want to use. What I use looks more like a composition notebook, but it's it's not like a black one or black and white one. It just kind of, I guess, speaks to my personality. And inside there, I've started writing a collection of letters to her and sharing with her things that she's saying, things that are happening, events that she's planning, special things that she's doing with her friends. And so really, I'm creating, I guess, what you would say is a memory book of sorts for her. So you may be wondering, well, what types of things do you include in your letters? Well, I definitely included the hangcliffer. So you may be wondering, well, where does that term even come from? Well, it started out as a typical night at our house. You have to understand my husband teaches film for a living, so we watch quite a bit of TV here and lots of film. And so it was one of those nights where we were watching a TV series. It might have been The Flash. I don't really recall, but what I do recall is at the end of the episode, at the end of the season, it just left more, right? It left you wanting more and wanting the next season to be starting instead of just like 6 months later, it seems like. And it just ended without an ending, right? And, they just leave you not knowing what's happening. And sometimes that's very aggravating, right? Like you just really want to know what happens with that character. Well, our daughter stood up and in a very serious face and tone, she says to us, well, that was a real hangcliffer. And we just kind of look at each other and she realizes immediately that hangcliffer is probably not a word. And she's like, what is the right word I should have said? And so we have a nice little, joke about it at the house about hangcliffer. She still uses it from time to time. And I know that you have those too. If your dyslexic kiddo is like most of ours, they change words around. They use another word that doesn't always fit a situation. But I want to be real clear. This is not a book of shame. It's really a notebook of celebrations, things that our child is doing that makes her unique and makes her special to us, things that we want her to remember growing up. And there are no rules to these letters, these entries that you do. It's all yours. It's what you want to make it. And so most importantly, I want you to have fun with it. So let me share with you another quick example of a letter that I wrote. So earlier this month, our daughter had several of her friends over. They had, the fifth graders last year had created a film company, and we hosted the first meeting this summer at our house. And of course, like I said earlier, it helps when your husband teaches film for a living. Thanks, Chris, because he's able to, help us with all these fun projects that we do around the house. And so we had made, we had movie games, we had food. The kids actually pitched their film ideas to their friends. They chose the roles that they wanted to play in the company, and then they decided on next steps for the film. So it really was an amazing day. But what was so amazing about it was to watch these now rising sixth graders, these kids going into middle school, who are all dyslexic, because she was at a dyslexic school, so all these kiddos are dyslexic. And it was interesting to watch their passion, and also to watch how they generate ideas and the way they processed as a group. And I have to say that some of them processed and collectively worked probably better than some of my husband's high school and college students, but we'll just keep that between the two of us. So I included one of those letters that I wrote was on that last week. And, one day when she's famous, maybe she'll be a movie producer one day, and she'll be able to come back to this notebook for inspiration and to see this first film meeting that they had. So it was a fun way to kind of pull all that together, but also to document that. And of course, it could have been a journal entry if I had wanted to do that. But I'm really wanting to write letters that when she's grown, I can give her these notebooks of sorts. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits, because I don't know about you, but our kids are growing up really too quickly. And although the days seem long sometimes, I'm still trying to believe we are heading into middle school. And I can't even think about the idea that we have 7 summers left until after high school. So, well, that's a topic for another day. Let's jump into the benefits. The first benefit is it keeps you grounded and grateful. Grounded and grateful. So as a parent on our parenting journey, it keeps you grounded and you grateful, because you're going to be on the look daily for these amazing thoughts and sayings and inspiration that your children have, and you're going to write those pieces down. Number 2, a second benefit is that we are recording experiences. And no, I don't write in this notebook every day, and not every week even. But I do keep it on my desk to remind me to be on the lookout for greatness. And that can be big or small. It could include how she taught her friends how to use Redstone on her Minecraft server. Or it could be about being selected for the Academy soccer team. Whatever it is, those are experiences you can record. And you don't have to write them all down. Just, those that are really, that you, not necessarily remarkable, but the things that come to mind, and you're like, I need to put that in a note to her tomorrow or to him tomorrow. Write those pieces down. And number 3, when the days get hard, and friend they will, it's just, a natural part of the parenting journey. You can thumb through and read a few earlier entries in the notebook. They'll bring a smile to your face. You may laugh a little, and it may even bring you a good cry, but I promise it's all worth it. And number 4, writing letters is really a fun part of the day. I mean, they make me laugh, and they remind me how much my person is growing as a person. And so that is really cool as well. So to me, there are definite benefits of writing these letters other than just documenting the journey of her life. It's also just these other pieces that are so important. So if you're just starting your dyslexia journey, this is a great place to start. Write down some things that your child is doing and saying, and, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, go back and look, and you're going to be able to see that progression and that growth, and it's really neat to watch. And if you've been around here for a minute, what are you waiting for? Go grab a notebook and start writing your letters. So how to get started, right? That's the next progression here. So yes, I want to write some letters. How do I get started? Well, first, like I said, you want to buy a notebook. So you're going to grab, your to-do list for this week and write down, buy a notebook. That's on your to-do list. Or if you're like me, you can just jump onto Amazon and order a notebook. And in the show notes, I put a link to, of course, You Got This, actual notebook. It's not my notebook, but it's a notebook I've used, where you can actually write your notes there. So if you want to grab the Amazon link and order from there, that's fine. Next time you go out, pick up a notebook. Again, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. I would get something relatively inexpensive, actually, because you're going to buy numerous, ones over the years. And you want to keep this notebook somewhere that you'll see it. I keep mine on my desk, but you could keep it on your nightstand, somewhere that you are daily. So I keep it on my desk so I can see it, so it reminds me, right? Because we get busy and you're like, oh yeah, I was going to write that down. Sometimes I might even write something on a sticky note and slap it literally on the front of this notebook, and it may be, movie day or whatever, something to remind me, oh yeah, I want to write about that. And Literally, it's so easy. You just start writing things down, the things that your child is saying and doing and sharing with you. And it really is a great way to write things down that you would want to share with your kids as an adult, but you're really afraid you won't remember. I know for me that's the case. I am 100% sure that I won't and you won't remember all the details if we don't write them down as they happen. I'm going to close this out with one more example for you. So earlier in the summer, our daughter had a few girls over to actually prepare for a watch party we're having later this month. And what was so great about it was Hattie had picked out some fabric and wanted to sew some pillows, some great big pillows that the kids could sit on for this watch party. And so we invited a few of her friends over. And what was so amazing was that my mom actually helped teach my daughter and her friends how to measure and cut fabric and how to actually use a sewing machine. And we had fun. We ordered pizza, we had brownies, and we had lots of laughs along with some really amazing looking pillows. I mean, the girls did a great job. But what a special memory for me to write about to her this day that she had with her friends and her grandmother. And in case you're wondering, I do not sew. So it was me observing while these kids were doing some amazing things. I will encourage you though, don't wait for your Facebook memories to pop up to remind you what happened last year, 5 years ago, or a week ago. Write down your own memories that you can later share with your son or daughter. And who knows, it may help them get through a tough day or days in the future. Remember, you got this. And you are not alone. If you want to join other amazing moms raising children with dyslexia, then go to Facebook and join our Dyslexia Mom Life podcast group. We are there for you. And I hope you have an amazing week and happy writing. Enjoy writing those letters to your kiddos and have a fantastic week.